Hi, my name is Tom Chick, and I am pretty excited to have received today my copy of Millennium Blades. Huge box, right? Barely even fits in the frame. Millennium Blades is not a CCG. Instead, it is about CCGs. The idea is a board game that recreates being a collector and a buyer and an organizer of collectible card games. But instead of actually being a collectible card game, a lot of stuff is abstracted. All the commons, all the rares, they're basically cut out of the game, and you have these tournaments using only 8 cards. So it's a deck builder in which you build a deck of 8 cards. And you pit your cards against everyone else in tournaments. You collect new rare cards. You open booster packs. The idea is to just recreate that love affair with CCGs without spending all the time that it takes. Do it in, a 2-hour gameplay session. So Millennium Blades was a Kickstarter from a year or so ago. I Kickstarted it and then promptly put it out of my mind, because that's what you do with these things, is you Kickstart them and then you ignore the updates and you just decide, you know what, it'll get here when it gets here. And that's what I did with Millennium Blades. They were great about sending updates. I didn't read any of them. I just thought, you know what, I'll patiently wait. One day it'll show up and surprise me. That day was today. Now, when folks get a new board game, a lot of times they will make an unboxing video. It's just a video of them opening the box and looking at the pieces and looking at the tray with the little cardboard with the chits not even punched out. The decks aren't organized in any way. The counters aren't organized. The dice are still in a bag. An unboxing video, there you go. And I've never understood the appeal. Because while I enjoy that experience myself, I think it would be far more instructive to show someone the components once they've been broken down and organized, and once you have a sense for what does what. To just lift things out of a box and say, oh, look, this looks cool. Okay, that's fine. But this is not that. This is going to be not a boxing video. That would imply something very different. I'm not going to be doing that. We'll call this a reboxing video. So I've broken down my copy of Millennium Blades. I've found a way to store it. It's a bit of a bear, so this might be some help to you. And now we are going to rebox my copy of Millennium Blades. Join me for that. And here we are. Pretty daunting, I know. Especially when you consider this is the box that has to go in. All of these cards, and the ordering matters, need to fit into here. And do you see the card dividers in here that are useful for separating the card? Oh, wait, there aren't any. So what are you going to do with all these? How are you going to fit these into that box and maintain this order, which is important, by the way, and I'll explain that in a second. Well, I have an idea. Come with me for a second. So if you're the sort of guy who buys Millennium Blades, you're also going to be the sort of guy who has a couple of sad boxes like these somewhere in your house. What we're looking for... these are Star Wars cards. Decipher made a Star Wars CCG many moons ago. It's probably the 90s. Oh, that's a boring one to show you. What are the... Okay, so these, by the way, pre-made decks. And I put little labels in them to show what the deck is. This is obviously my Tatooine Jawa deck. This is a generic Tatooine war deck. What else? What do you think that is? D-Star. It's a Death Star deck, of course. If that's what you guessed, you got it right. Okay, this isn't what we're looking for. Although, what are these? So you'll have to be careful to resist the temptation to just look through all your old CCGs. Yavin. It's a Yavin deck. Let's see what's in here. Oh, proxies for my Millennium Falcon card. The idea is I'll go through and get it out of one of my other decks. My Han Solo card. Chewbacca. Red 5. Yeah, C-3PO. What is he doing in here? Well, okay, you know what? He belongs in there. Fair enough. All right, don't get sidetracked. Keep your eyes on the prize. This is not what we're doing. This is a very real danger when you start digging around in these boxes. Let's look for it. Let's try this one. Ah, Netrunner. Yeah, why keep Netrunner with your board games? It's a card game, right? Let it live with the other cards. What do we got? These are my Netrunner decks. Yeah. The tokens, of course. Oh, here's an old CCG about vampires. It was called Jihad. They rebranded it as Vampire: The Eternal Struggle. Don't know why they changed the name Jihad. It's perfectly good. Let's see, this is about... oh, these are Netrunner cards. We need that. Let's see, we're looking for... Here we go. What you're looking for is some box like this with a sad little CCG in it that nobody remembers or plays anymore. It's just forgotten, living in a box. On the Edge. Remember that one? Yeah, me either. All right, we don't need the cards. We're done with those. This is what you want. And you're going to need a few of these. So dig around. Ideally, get 4 of them. Before we get to the cards specifically, let me show you what else comes in the box. You, of course, have a manual. I briefly panicked when I got my copy because I thought it didn't have a manual. Because the manual was hidden under these sticker sheets. And why do you need sticker sheets in a game like this with so many cards? Because of these money wads. I think they're called card bucks or something. You put these bands on them. These bands are stickers. You assemble a group of 10 bills. See, these are all in here so you can rifle them to make sure it's good. They're one-sided though. And you make 1s and 5s, and of course, when you're doing really well, 10s. So these were stickers. Look underneath there. Don't panic. Don't think you don't have a manual. It's under there. Let's see, what else did I get? I got a letter from Brad Talton, one of the guys who made the game. Looks like he signed it. It's very kind of him. Also, there is a promotional card, which, did I lose mine? See, that's why you want everything in the box, so you don't lose stuff. Well, of course, you've got here, if you're like me and you take notes for setting the game up and teaching it, you'll want to include your notes. Put that there. There are player mats as well. 5 of them? 6 of them? Is this a 5-player game? Here they are. There is one side for when you are doing the deck building area. Here's where cards go when you collect them. Here's where they go when you make a deck. Here's your binder, which is what you're not using in the tournament. When there is a tournament, you use this side. There's where your cards go. Here's extra doodads you get. This is your scoring track. Not very elegant, by the way. This is kind of a mess. But what are you going to do with these large numbers of, these are called reputation points that you earn. Handy little key down here. So you want these in the box, of course. This is the store where cards are put face down to represent booster packs, where you know what type of card, like what, these are called sets, where you know what set you're getting, but you don't know the individual card until you buy it and look. The idea is you're opening up a booster pack. Here is where you get promos. You just cash in trash cards that you have. You have 5 of them to spare, get a bronze. 7, get a silver. If you can spare 9 cards, get a gold. This is the aftermarket. You sell cards face up here. Other players can then buy them. Metagame cards go right here. These are modifiers that apply to every tournament. So these have to go in the box. You also need to put in the box. Oh no, here's my little promotional card. This right here. Also signed. Unfortunately not usable because it's just a little thin cardboard paper. It's not actual card stock. Besides, it is different from this set. This is actually a card in this set. It has the unique function, but too bad you can't use it. But cute, it's signed, it comes with the game. You're going to want to put that in the box. Scoring pad, you need to keep score. There's a lot of points in this game. You might want to include a pencil in your box because, I like to keep a pencil with a scoring pad. That has to go in there. These here are your exotic locales. When you have a tournament, you can, and this is a variant, you can draw an exotic locale and have a tournament in a CCG museum, a charity tournament in space. Where's the one I like? The supermarket. So these have to go in the box, big oversized cards. Here are your little cubes for scoring. These right here, I've already got them in baggies, of course. Make sure your baggies are sealed. Don't you hate it when you open a box and the baggie's unsealed and all the pieces are everywhere? These are modifiers to card power. You won't need those in the box. These are tokens to represent when a player has sold cards. So you can only sell so many in a turn. You need these in the box. And of course, all this money. Can you see all this? Look at that. All that money has to go in the box. These stacks of cash, basically. This is the problem with dealing with cash. You know, if this was on a credit card or if this is just a wire transfer, if these were bearer bonds, way easier to manage. So stacks of cash have to fit into the game as well. But the real problem is all of these cards and maintaining their order. Let me explain to you why you need to maintain the order of these cards. All of these up here are what are called sets. They're themed groups of cards that you choose from each row a certain number of these sets randomly, or you can pick. The manual recommends for your first game a couple of sets, which I'll show you in a minute. These down here are your starting cards. This deck here is called your core deck. It's pretty huge. It's got a ton of cards in there. You will use these every time you play, this big old group right here. That you'll always need. These are the meta cards. They, as I showed you on the blank before, they'll add a bonus scoring option based on the types of cards and the elements for each tournament. These are the starting decks. Based on the number of players, you're going to use some of these, of course. Each starting deck has an element. There's light, dark, air, earth, fire, water. So you will need easy access to these at the beginning of every game. One of the variants is to have player characters. And these 6 people here, I guess 5 people and a robot, these are player characters. If you're going to use that variant, you will need that character's card, plus what are called these friendship cards, which are ways to basically exchange points with each other. These here are promo cards. If a character wins a tournament, then that character's promo card becomes available to all the players. The idea being that character is now a celebrity and has inserted him, her, or itself into the actual gameplay. So you need these easily available every game you play. You only need, these are called expansion packs. You only pick 5 of these different decks. So only about half of these are going to come into play any given game. When you then break down the game after playing, when you tear it down, you're going to have to return these, because they're all going to get shuffled into the core deck, by the way. You're going to have to return these to their distinct stacks and store them that way. And if you're like me, you like to store things in such a way that the bulk of time with setup is spent when you put the game up, with the teardown, basically. You want to minimize the setup time so you can get straight into playing. So you want easy access to these every game, to 5 of these expansion packs every game. These are called premium packs, slightly more valuable than these. You will use 4 of these every game. You just pick 4. The manual suggests, I've put on the right side, and this is a storage thing. You might want to do it maybe alphabetically. I don't know how anal you are. But for me, I've put the ones that are recommended in the beginning game on the right. So it recommends using these expansion packs, these premium packs. Above the premium packs, even more valuable, are what are called master packs. You will only use 3 of these in a given game. So 5 here, 4 here, 3 here, all shuffled into this core deck. A lot of cards to manage. And in the end, when you tear it down, since they each have unique backs, it's relatively easy to put them back in place. The trick is how you're going to store them. Get to that in a second. Let me finally show you what all of these guys are up here. There are also promo cards in the game. As I showed you before in the store, you can cash in your trash cards, it's called fusing them, to get promo cards. There are bronze, silver, and gold. In addition, these are offered as prizes at the end of a tournament, cards out of the promo pack. So you will use 2 bronze, 2 silver every game, and 1 gold. So from these rows, 2 here, 2 here, 1 here. Pick randomly, choose the ones that are recommended, as I've put off to the right, that are recommended for your starting game. And again, the trick is, how do you break them down? How do you arrange them in that box so that they're easy to find? Well, I'm going to show you. Remember these guys, right? You are going to take one of these boxes, and you're going to put each row in its own box, more or less. Here are the character cards, which we may or may not use. Between each stack, whether it's a deck, a starter deck, or a pack, use one of these trash cards from one of your other CCGs as a divider. And I'll show you how that looks in just a minute. Here are the character cards. We may or may not use these in a given game. Now, I don't know if you can see, but you can sort of distinguish in here. It's easy enough to see where each set falls. And if you store them in a certain way, you can just flip to a different set to see what you're looking for. Oh, I like to have put the core cards in there as well. Remember, these are used every single game. You will want easy access to these fellows. And then finally, just so that every other box can have expansion sets, whether they're the base expansion, the premium, the master, or the promo cards, we're going to put the starter decks in here as well. And they will fit. Oh, here are the meta cards for a tournament. We're going to put our 6 starter decks in a pile. And then those live snugly in here. We are now 1/4 of the way done efficiently storing our copy of Millennium Blades. Now we're going to take the expansion sets and arrange them so that in this particular situation, the sets recommended for a beginning game, these 5, are going to be on top. So they'll be easy to find. Oops. Make sure to get that divider in there. Poor card, that was probably useful to me at one point. And for ease of seeing what is in each box and flipping through the different sets, we want the card backs facing out. Now we are going to take the premium and master packs, and again, the ones recommended for the starting game so we can easily find it when we start our game, these 4, these will be on top. Now our master packs. I'm pretty sure you see where this is going. But there is an important detail I will show you in just a moment. And then finally, we're going to take all of our promo cards, the bronzes, the silvers, the golds. I love some of the tie-ins. Look at this. Straight up Miroshima Hex. You know, a lot of the things in here are obvious nods, somewhat elliptically so as not to violate any copyright stuff. Look at that. I don't know what that is. Some JRPG, anime, something like that. All right, now all of our bronze and silver promotional sets are together. And then we will put in our golds. With the one we are going to use each game for the starting game on top. And again, with the dividers in there, look how easy it is to see each set. And because they're all facing this way, it's super easy to just riffle through and find whichever one you want. So we have these there. We are then going to put lids on them, of course. You don't want your cards running around loose in the box after you've gone to all this trouble. Now, what are you going to do with these? Well, you're going to take this box and you're going to fit 2 in each. And again, if you're anal like me, make sure the card backs are all facing one way So you can sit here and rifle through them, find what you need. Oh, but look, they slide around. That's not very snug, is it? Well, money to the rescue. Look how neatly that fits into here. Stacks and stacks of cash solve lots of problems. Uh-oh, but look, still pretty loose. That is where we can then put these baggies in these edges here as padding. That's pretty nice. Don't forget your little scoring tokens. And I'm sure you can see where the rest of this is going. Your exotic locations, your scoring pad, your promotional card signed by Brad Talton, your notes, your letter, your store and aftermarket boards, your player boards, and of course the manual on top. Now, here's where it gets a little tricky. I don't know if you can see there, but it doesn't fully close. So that is the compromise you're going to have to make, unless you find some differently sized clear boxes. So you're going to want to be careful about storing stuff on top of it. I don't think, there are sharp edges on those little plastic boxes. You want to be careful about denting things. But there you go. All that stuff that was spread out on this table, now in one neat, tidy, easy box. I can quickly break it out, set up a game with minimal fuss, and keep everything organized. So if that was helpful for you, you'll find some other videos here on this YouTube channel. You can follow me on Twitter at QT3, and you can find my reviews and articles at quarterto3.com. Come on by, hope to see you there. And please, subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate when you do that. Thanks for watching.